Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 153 is brought to you by Juice Van Dreisch, Courtney, and Catherine Schultz, some of our newest Patreon patrons. This week, Nina, Sergio, and I are going to be giving you some Amiibo card collecting tips and covering the latest data mine for New Horizons. So to begin, hello Sergio, how are you doing?
Hi Chuy, I'm doing pretty well. It was a nice weekend, pretty solid start to the week also. How are you doing?
Awesome, I'm doing well too. And then I guess Nina, how are you?
I'm doing super good over here. The weather's finally cooling off in Atlanta, and I am ready for Halloween.
That's
Though,
great.
I tried to go Halloween shopping this weekend, and there's already Christmas stuff out, so I don't know how I feel
Right?
about that.
No, I have seen it too. It's like all of that stuff is out right now, and I'm just like, what is going on? It's like we're not even done with Halloween yet. Usually, I feel like they're going too early when it's not even Thanksgiving yet. And
Yeah.
I'm all,
Yeah.
come on, let's not skip out on Franklin here. He's great. He's a lot of
Yes.
fun. It's worth celebrating and being thankful. But yeah, I don't know. I keep seeing that stuff and I keep telling Jackie, I think it's just that everybody needs something to look forward to right now.
That's probably true. We're just skipping November completely for good reason.
Yeah, I know. So I give them a pass this year. I think everybody just needs a little bit of fun out there.
Yeah.
It's like, earlier they brought out the pumpkin spice stuff early, so.
Yeah.
That's true. I did have a very early pumpkin spice latte this year.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to do. Cool, so let's get into this. We're going to talk about Amiibo to start, and I guess I wanted to get a recap from both of you if you're collecting Amiibo cards. Nina, are you going to be collecting more?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to try and get some more. I mean, I have a small little collection going, um, and I'm ready to get it moving. I really enjoy scanning characters in the game, so I'm excited.
Yeah, has that been part of your like daily routine lately, like scanning somebody in?
No, but I like to have like a a plethora of choices. Um, when I'm scanning villagers in to replace other villagers, because I'm really picky with how houses look, and I'm kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel right now. So I'm ready for some fresh blood.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, I spend more time worrying about what a character's house will look like than what the character is. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, the characters are so empty. You might as well get the ones that look the best to you. And I'm like, yeah, but what if they're so empty that we only care about what their house looks like?
I'm living that life, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still don't get that with the characters. I think they're still a lot of fun to me, so I enjoy whoever lives on my island.
In the
So
most beautiful
Sergio,
house.
yeah, and the most beautiful house for sure. Uh, so Sergio, I guess, are you going to be collecting more? I know you have some, not quite a complete collection.
Right. You know what? Yeah, I think I might. And mostly the reason is because the extras that I have, I'm going through them sort of as a pile, and I'm scanning one every day just to get an item. And I'm more than halfway done. So even if I get duplicates, it would be nice to add them to this pile. And if I don't get duplicates, I can add them to my collection. So yeah, I'll probably pick up a few packs here and there.
Yeah, and I remind me, were you able to get those like really cool collector's binders that have all the characters like shadows and stuff, and they're like, specially made for this card set?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
I'm so jealous.
Are they making those again?
I mean, the thing with those is like they didn't come to the States at all. Like they were only in Europe and Japan, as far as I know. Maybe Australia got them too, just because they tend to do kind of similar things as Nintendo of Europe. So
Right.
it, I did see them at one point in my life because for our honeymoon, Jackie and I went to Spain and we saw them there, and I was so tempted to get all of them, but I already knew the state of our suitcase and it was not going to fit.
No, what a terrible reason not to buy them.
Yes, I had them in my hands. I totally would have loved to get them, but I had to pass it up. and now I'm just like, I'm gonna be looking at eBay again for these because they are so cool. They're
Yeah.
just like the perfect little booklets for the cards.
I might have to figure out a
Yeah.
way to craft these together myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that said, like I do have like an Animal Crossing themed binder. I got kind of lucky one day. This was when I still lived, I think in Arizona at the time, but I went to the Best Buy and I was just kind of doing my usual round of window shopping. I've never been like an actual big spender at places. I'm more of like, I just want to see what's there, kind of get it out that way. So, anyways, I'm doing some window shopping there, and there's a Nintendo rep there, kind of like a brand ambassador type of person. I think those are the ones they kind of bring in to do these in-store event things. So, they're giving out a bunch of things, and one of them is this like special Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer binder. So
Mm.
that's the theme around it. It's really nice. It's like hardbound and everything. The pages inside. I don't know how familiar you are with like the types of pages that are available to hold cards and everything, but these were like the really nice ones where there's a separate slot for each side, which
Oh,
is
Oh.
yeah, it's a really nice binder overall, and they just gave it to me. Like it was completely free. And so that one, I actually keep not the 1 through 4 series cards, but essentially like the Welcome Amiibo series cards,
right,
which
Oh.
right.
funny enough, I tried those out in Happy Home Designer. They don't even work on that game. Like those only
Really?
work
Yeah.
on New Leaf. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't ever bring those characters into Happy Home Designer. That maybe, I don't know, how long has it been out? 5 years? They can still update it, right?
Make the brand new models. Though Happy Home Designer came out after New Leaf, but before the Welcome Amiibo update, right?
It was a very tight schedule
Okay.
with that. So it was after New Leaf, but it was like basically right before Amiibo Festival. They came out the same year, and I
Mhm.
want to say Happy Home Designer was like the end of summer, and Amiibo Festival is probably just like before fall was going to hit too. Like they were both really close.
Oh wait, did I say Amiibo Festival? I might have misspoke. The Welcome Amiibo update for New Leaf. It came out
Oh,
before the Welcome Amiibo update?
Yes.
yeah, they
Okay.
came out before.
Okay.
So
So
it
yeah,
was
that's
New
why.
Leaf, yeah, New Leaf spin-offs, and then Welcome Amiibo eventually. I think that was still like a couple years later. Maybe it was the
Yeah.
next year actually.
Okay.
I think yeah, it was 2016. Just a year before the Switch got like revealed and put out there. It's insane
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how close all of these things fall together.
Mm.
uh, yeah. So I guess I do want to talk a little bit about collecting Amiibo because I'm sure a lot of people are going to start doing that. So I've got a complete set of my own. Some of the cards I may have paid a lot more than people should pay. I was gonna say willing to pay, but no, you just shouldn't pay as much as I did for a specific card that I got. But yeah, I guess I'll tell you kind of what my experience was going through and getting them, and just my method into how to make this as cheap as possible. Because the main series of cards, the sets like 1 through 4, and then the Welcome Amiibo sets, I followed the same formula to collect those. The other sets I had to go by other means just because one, they didn't come out in the States, and two, I was like waiting for them to come out in the States, and when they didn't, I made a mistake because they were a lot cheaper before that
Right.
realization
Right.
set in. And hence my overspending on a specific card, but worth it in Sergio's eyes.
Yes.
So, anyways, let's get into this. So, the Amiibo card restock is very close. November is when they're coming out. I think they're already available to pre order at GameStop because GameStop is slowly going out of business and hemorrhaging money. So, they're doing their best to get as much out there as possible before they eventually shut down, which I don't know, it could be any day at this point, really. But GameStop has these available, so you can order from there. I think if you're in the US, because, that's the US branded GameStop. I think it's EB Games in other places. And I think the UK has just their whole other retail scenario that I'm not as familiar with. So, yeah, once again, sets 1 through 4 coming out in November. Here are my tips to collecting them. The magic number of packs to buy for me was 17 packs, and this is for brand new collectors. Because if you already have a certain amount of cards, I recommend just seeing how many you have in that set, including duplicates and things, because the magic number you want to get to is 100, of course, because there are 100 cards in each set. 17 packs will actually give you 102 cards, so you'll have a couple extras, but that is the only amount of packs you can buy that'll get as close to that number. This is going to vary based on your region. The US comes with 6 cards per pack, so I think Japan and UK and Europe and everything, they only have 3 cards per pack. So you'll have to double that, which will be like 34 packs, right? So 17 packs here in the States, 34 elsewhere. This will get you to that magic number, 102. From there, what I did was I, filled out my binder with as many of that series as possible. I set my duplicates aside, and those duplicates were key in me going, okay, now that I have these, I'm going to trade them away. That's going to go to other people, and they're going to send me what I need, right? So I did this at the height of the Amiibo card craze, which was really nice because with so many people out there collecting and to complete their sets, it wasn't these ridiculous prices for the most sought after characters. People were pretty fair with trades. They're like, okay, I have a card you need. You have a card I need. Let's just swap those 2 cards and we're good to go. And everybody was like, yeah, let's do that. It wasn't like, I mean, there would be some kind of difference if it was like a special card. I know Isabel, she was wildly popular in New Leaf, so her cards were always like, this is an Isabel card, so can I get like 2-3 cards out of you kind of thing. Honestly, I didn't run into that too much. For the most part, people were pretty fair. Specials for specials and villagers for villagers. So that said, I do want to mention price on that because if you're going to be buying 17 packs of cards, it's going to add up quite a bit. Each pack, when they come out, they're typically $6 plus tax. So you're going to be looking at about $102 plus tax on this expenditure. And that's just for one series, right? So that's series 1. If you add them all together, that total is $408 plus tax. And, I can't tell you what your tax codes are or what your tax rate is. So that's going to differ depending on where you are. People in Oregon are going to luck out because I don't think they have sales tax in Oregon. It's a state like that. But other people in other places, I think at the time I was in Arizona. Yeah, so sales tax wasn't too high, but I know I came from California, so everything's pretty cheap for me coming from there. So yeah, $408. That's just $108 more than a brand new Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and just $92 from PS5 or Xbox Series X.
Oh man.
But, these are priceless artifacts, let me tell you. I have never been sad to have a complete set of Animal Crossing cards. The real issue you're going to run into is finding them in stock in places. Luckily, they're cards. I know the Smash Amiibo specifically, at their height, they were very difficult to find and keep on shelves for Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo tried very hard to keep those on shelves. And the Amiibo cards, the one advantage they have in that sense is that they're cards. Like, it's a piece of cardboard paper, It's pretty cheap to produce. They did a decent job keeping them stocked slightly, but, once they were gone, they were pretty gone. So be sure to check everywhere. There's also one less store to buy from. Back when these things came out, Toys R Us was still a thing. So
Oh,
that honestly, Toys R Us saved me one day because I found a whole bunch of welcome Amiibo card packs at one Toys R Us, and I was able to really, complete my set with that trip.
That's
So
where I
that
got
was
all
nice.
of my cards.
Yeah, yeah. And the one thing that's hard with Toys R Us, they did this with Pokemon cards, but the packs there were always $1 more. I don't remember them doing that with the Amiibo cards, so that was good. But honestly, you're not going to need to worry about that. Toys R Us is gone. You're not going to buy them from there. So you're going to be looking at your Best Buys, GameStop, Target, Walmart. All of those are going to have them. They'll probably be online, but online, I don't know, the scalpers are good with whatever bots they've built out, so it's competitive when you're doing that. And it's like you're not even fighting just your local neighborhood, you're fighting the world, the internet world. So it's a little bit harder to go that direction. I recommend figuring out, and they haven't announced the date on these releases yet, so that's another bummer, but being able to go to the store and get them is surefire. Be sure to wear a mask, be safe. When you do that, times are very different
Yeah,
this time
I was
around.
about to say, if you really need to go out and buy them, please wear a mask or 2 masks.
Yeah, so definitely try the online route. Whatever place you can pre-order them from. Like I said, GameStop has them available. I haven't actually checked, so I can't tell you if that's like up to date. But as far as I knew, they had already opened up their pre-orders.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so check there, check all the other sites. I want to say there was like really cool places to look to, like things like Brickseek, which kind of started out as like Lego collectors and enthusiasts just trying to find really rare Legos and Lego sets and everything. So, and for all you overseas audience listeners, Lego. It's just Lego is plural. I know I said Legos, but that's kind of how we talk about them here. So anyways, once again, this is going to be a little bit different with Europe and Japan since the packs only have 3 cards. You're going to double everything, even the price. Like it's not even they cut the price in half. I think the packs are still the same price if you adjust for currency and everything. So the cards are essentially double over there, which is going to be rough. Instead of 102 per set, you're looking at 204 per set and like I don't know 800 and like 16 for your entire set, which is you could buy both of the new next gen consoles, probably a really great investment at this point.
That's more than I have in my
comparatively.
bank account. That's ridiculous.
It's a lot, right? And here's the other thing. Like, there was at least a little gap for me between each purchase prior because they only came out one set at a time. So one set came out, I'd have like 1-2 months between the next one. And then the next set would come out and I'd be like, oh, okay, my wallet just recovered from the last one. But there was some recovery there, You're not going to get that same thing here. Like this, they're all coming out all at once. So I know this is expensive. I don't recommend it for anybody. Trust me, I've done it. What I recommend is please look at the sets and find which ones have the characters that you like the most. And, really break it down by that. Like if there's one set that has like 5 characters that you really want versus another set that has 1 or 0, don't get those other sets. Like don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Because like I said, like even the duplicates that you can get, those are, sometimes you get a really good duplicate of a character that somebody really wants and they probably have that other character that you really want. So you can focus on one set and just like trade your duplicates from that set or the cards you don't care about for those cards from the other set that you do really want. So That's going to break down the price for you. You don't have to get them all. Trust me, I've been there. I've lived that life. I have so many Smash Amiibo that are in a closet in a box. I need to get like a shelf to put them because it's really, it's not even display purposes for me with some of these things. So yeah, look at the sets, find out what you really want, focus on that set that has the most of what you want, and then just find some friends, trade around, because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people getting a lot. Even if you just buy like, a couple packs per set, you're gonna have a good amount of cards to work with there.
It's gonna be nice. And I just was scrolling through Twitter, and it looks like Mayor Mori has made an Animal Crossing Amiibo card app to help you keep track of your collection, which is unreal.
Yeah, I think he called it Moribo too, which is a great name. Mori and Amiibo together. Yeah, I've been talking to him a little bit. I kind of mentioned I'm really excited about his app. I don't know if you both remember that AC Quiz app, but he made that one as well.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh yeah, there was this little app. I think both Sergio and I played it one day. And I want to say you played it, Sergio. Do you remember a trivia app?
So it wasn't for like a personality test?
No, it wasn't a personality test. It was like Animal Crossing trivia, and it was pretty tough. It was like the questions came up really fast. They gave you like, I don't know, 5 seconds to read and answer the question.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, so he made that app too, but yeah, I mean, I've talked to Maury and I know that he's like kind of a developer. So he just kind of makes this stuff all the time. So his stuff is really great all the time. The graphics that he made for it, really cute, but that'll be a really good app to have and use to really keep track of everything. And I should reach out to him and ask if there's like a select all button for people like me.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
it looks like it comes out November 8th if anyone is interested.
That's awesome. Sounds like he's going to get it out like just in time for this. So it'll be pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, and this is the big thing, trading. I've looked into this a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to look into a new community because the one that I used to trade before, Amiibo Swap, that subreddit has closed, and it's been closed for, I think, over a year now. Amiibo have kind of had their time in the limelight and everything. They're all dead and gone pretty much. There's some Amiibo still coming out, but it's not going to be as big a thing as it was before. So, people had to keep the subreddit running, and that takes a lot of time and dedication, especially from what I'm going to tell you right now of what to look for in a trading community. But I'll be on the lookout for places, for resources for you, so expect some check-ins later when I find them. But as far as trading goes, here's what I recommend looking for in a community. One, it has to be moderated. You are going to want people who are there to look out for your best interest and keep the community honest. There are so many people out there on the internet who are, they're just going to rip you off. They're going to steal from you. They're not going to provide the thing that you were expecting, right? So you need a community where the moderators have these rules set in place and they are active and responsive to user complaints. So they need to be able to take reports of people stealing, fraudulent claims and everything. So that's really important because once that Amiibo leaves you, like, it's going to be gone. There's not going to be a way to get it back, and you're just out a card and you don't have the thing that you were looking for. So look for a place that's moderated. Next, also find a place that kind of has a review system in place. You want a community that allows you to build trust with others and see others who build trust with a community as well. So one that gives ratings based on your trades. Like, as you do more trades, you become more trustworthy. People can say, I traded with this person. I know that they are good on their word. It's worth trading with them. And then vice versa, like, people can build a negative I guess, reputation as well, where they're like, okay, this person, they're not somebody you can trust. Don't trade with them, you know? And then on top of that, you want them to take action when those things happen. You want those people banned, of course. If they did it once, they're gonna do it again. Forgiveness is good, but it's just a quick thing. That they're probably just out there to do it again. Of course, from there, the difficulty that happens with that is often you feel like nobody's trading with you because you have no reputation on those places, but you want to find a place that also kind of fosters the community that works with like new users as well, so they can build their reviews and gain trust, having a community that like can trust each other, and new people who come in can have an opportunity to join in that circle of trust. That's going to be key right there, because then if you're all just trading with the same people, you're going to run out of a pool of Amiibo cards that you could use to trade, Finally, the last thing I would say is you want a community that also protects the users, and this all goes back to the same first thing. You want the place to act quickly when they identify potential fraud. You want the mods to ban users who have stolen from others, and you want them to look seriously into the concerns of people with new accounts, because sometimes, and Sergio and Nina, you both can attest to this a bit, sometimes you have a user who just kind of like keeps coming back and you can tell it's them, but they've like changed their name slightly or something because for some reason they're lazy when they come back and don't really make a real effort to fool you. So we've been in that situation with our community at first. We've locked it down a little bit more to keep that from happening. But yeah, just you want a place that is able to look into those people who might be a little iffy. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to be on the lookout for a community that has a good system in place. I know personally it's hard to manage because I've seen it managed, and I don't know if Haken is quite capable. I think we'll probably allow things, but we'll see if it gets too out of hand trading with people. But yeah, I just know I'm already stressed thinking about all the work that goes into building a place like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has to do with like addresses and mailing things, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're getting some personal info out there with people. I mean, it's good for people who have like PO boxes and stuff that it doesn't, dox them in any way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the other risk you're going to run here. And honestly, if you're also moving pretty soon, I guess that's a safer way to use your address because you're not going to be there very long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but regardless, all things said, it's tough to find that type of community, but we'll be looking around. But yeah, I don't know. It's risky too. So if you want to trade, it's going to be there. But hopefully too, I mean, another way of getting these cards, of course, things like eBay and Amazon, just like individual sellers who are looking to just offload the extra cards that they have. I'm hoping that with this stock kind of coming back, the prices are going to lower on those characters that people really like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, those are all my tips for trading. It's kind of my tips to collecting as well. It's expensive is the bottom line here. And I would recommend just like I said, just focus on the cards that you're really looking for. Find some other friends who you trust to trade with.
Yeah.
And yeah, if no community exists for this type of thing at the moment. And I made a little note here, but I also would not be surprised, I guess, if like Nookazon starts allowing physical sales
Interesting.
for like Amiibo cards to some extent, Yeah, we'll see what their thoughts are on that later, but I know Nookazon's a big platform for people right now in the game. So you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, so let's go ahead and get into this next segment, and we're going to talk all about the latest New Horizons Datamine. So this Datamine comes from the fall update. Since the game updated, there's been some new code that Ninji on Twitter has been able to discover. We found this Datamine through Animal Crossing World, and it is just a collection of the stuff that Ninji has found. So all credit goes to Ninji, and, we just kind of read it off of there, but want to go over it and, just speak our thoughts on this. So to begin, let's talk about ceiling furniture items. This is the first one that has been in the data mine. For all of you longtime listeners, I've complained about this quite a bit, but this is a feature that existed in Happy Home Designer, and it allowed us to hang items on the ceiling. I mean, not every item. There were specific ceiling items that could be used as furnishings there. But yeah, I guess, Nina, how are you feeling about this? I know I heard you react to it.
I'm so excited. So some of my favorite ceiling items in Happy Home Designer were the vines that you could drape across. Then there were little seagull pull toys, and their wings would flap. And there was this really pretty globe lamp that you could customize the colors of. And I feel like I ended up putting those in almost every single one of my rooms. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think that was the stained glass lamp, right? That kind of
there's
hung
also
from
the
the ceiling.
stained glass lamp that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the lamp options in that game.
So
There's
good.
so many good ones. So many chandeliers and things.
And even mundane stuff. They even had really good office lamps and gosh, what else hung from the ceiling for the office? But just everyday items that you wouldn't really think about until it's put in front of you, and then it's amazing.
Yeah, what are those little festive banner triangle
Oh,
things called again?
bunting.
Yeah, the bunting. That used to be a ceiling item in that game. I think you hung that across. So that was one thing that was there. But yeah, there were so many little things like fans and the vines, honestly, I loved those. Those were just you could really tie so many rooms together with the stuff that you could put on the ceiling. And it feels good to have this in the code in some way because I've been complaining about it forever. The other day, I've been playing with the camera a lot more in New Horizons, and if you mess with it inside, you can see the ceiling pretty clearly, and I'm just I can see this. Why can't I put things there? I feel like that should be an option, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess,
Yeah.
Sergio, what are you thinking on these?
Yeah, that's nice. Very good addition, I would say. It's gonna. I feel like it's a little bit unexpected, so it's gonna challenge us to when we see the items that we can place in our rooms. We're gonna be like, well, what if I redo my room based on these items? So it's gonna open up some creativity, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that you're mentioning it too, this isn't a feature that has existed in a mainline Animal Crossing game yet.
Yeah.
They added a lot of items from Happy Home Designer to New Leaf with the Welcome Amiibo update, but they didn't change kind of the areas that you could decorate. So they didn't add anything that you could place on the ceiling. That wasn't an option at all. They didn't break down the grid a little bit more so you could place things in those in between grids, So yeah, I think it's really cool, and I just keep thinking of the things I was able to design with it, like the cafes and stuff. There were really cool signs. It was really cool to customize those to have a different look, whether it's oh, this one is for drinks and this one's for croissants and stuff, It was beautiful. I just love the stuff that you could do with those.
Well, and kind of piggybacking on what Sergio said, it's almost like adding more replayability because you're revisiting those rooms that maybe you had finished and adding more detail to them,
Right.
which doesn't happen often for me
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I do kind of stream pretty regularly and tell people, like, oh, I want to rework this room and everything. So, like, I definitely take that for granted in the sense of, like, my brain just works in the way of, like, oh, I don't think this is going to be how I design it forever. Like, my brain
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work like, oh, my time with Animal Crossing is finished.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it works as in, like, oh, I really want to do something different with this room later for this holiday and stuff. So for me, like, I'm always thinking of like, okay, this item would be really cool in this room. I'm going to save it for later and put it somewhere, or one of my other characters' rooms, now that I have 5 characters on my island,
Oh
I've
my
been growing
Oh
gosh.
it.
wow.
Yeah, I've been making plans, but yeah, for other people seeing all of these new items pop up and not just like them being new items, because we could collect as many items as we want, but if there's not like a will to change up the room that we have because we already like it, we're not going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this just like going to another surface and opening up another area completely, yeah, I totally get that. People are going to be revisiting their rooms and going like, this place used to be okay, but now it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
you know
I
yeah,
can't
so
wait.
I'm excited to really see how people are inspired with these new items. Of course, if they come,
Yeah.
we're saying this all with the hopes that it will, but the data mine's been pretty spot on so far with stuff coming to the game.
Yeah, but it also might be like maybe not slated until next summer or something. So even though it's
Hmm.
been found and some people could see it as a spoiler, it really isn't showing you the pieces yet, and it's not a win yet.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like we currently don't know the plan. I'm pretty confident that we're going to be focused on very holiday specific updates these next few months.
Yeah.
We've seen it with October, obviously. Like they gave us these pumpkins. The pumpkins weren't the only thing in the data mine for farming and everything. There was stuff like, I want to say, lettuce and
Oh.
all sorts of other little crops. So while I see those being possible come the Harvest Festival, just because that's all around cooking, and cooking's all around growing crops and being able to plant your food.
Mhm.
So I could see them being added later, but you're totally right. Like, though this appears in this update, maybe it is going to be next year that we actually see these happen.
Yeah, I don't know. We gotta wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. So the next little thing that was revealed in this state of mine was villager visits. And for those of you who are new to the game, back in New Leaf, there was the ability to have villagers over at your home. There was also the ability to visit them for a special occasion. So that was a little bit different than just running into them in their home, but it worked like this. Essentially, a villager could just pop into your house unannounced if you're inside of your home and just like, usually you're decorating or you just ran in real quick to check your closet or something, but you'd leave the menu and then you'd hear a knock at the door and a villager would be like, hey, you around? I want to come in. So, they just kind of come in and visit for a little bit. The other way this could work was if you were talking to them, they could schedule a visit.
Hmm.
This way, I gotta say, this was the hardest one for me to remember
Hmm.
each time because you'd be like, they'd say, "Oh, I can't visit now. I can do anytime, like after 5 or in an hour."
Oh, it was
Yeah.
always an hour or more in the future. I was like, why can't it
Uh
be
huh.
15 minutes from now? I would
Yes.
get
Can
so
you
mad
just
at
not?
them.
I know. I know. That's the one struggle with that. So you have to remember to log back in, say
Mm.
you played for 30 more minutes or so, and then you're like, "Oh, it's been an hour. I better go." Or else they're going to say I stood you up, and they would,
They would.
Yeah.
They get mad at you.
Yes, they call you out for that. And so, that was the schedule a visit one. The other one, which I preferred it was probably
Yes.
my favorite of these, but they would just right away say, I want to hang out. Can we go to your place right now?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then just right away they'd follow you, which is also really cute
It
because
was
it's
so
not
cute.
Yes, it's not every day that you get your villagers like running around after you. I mean, if you're one of those evil people who sees your villager calling out for you and chasing you down and then don't respond, then you know how fun that is, I guess. But it's really fun when you're also gonna go and hang out at your place.
Okay, did either of you ever like just run around to watch them follow you? Because if you take too long, they're like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" They're like, "Your house is that way. What are you doing?"
Yes, yeah, I have done that. I will just like walk around with them, still doing my chores and everything,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Aren't we doing something?" Or like, "If you're busy, I can go," And you're like, "No, no, no, no. Like, we're good. We'll go."
It was the
But then,
cutest.
yes, I love that so much. Um, but yeah, so those were the three basic ways that you had to like visit with the characters and everything. And typically, what would happen is they'd walk around your room, they would comment on the stuff that you had around there, and then the next day they would also send you a little present as a thank you for visiting.
Mhm.
Um, so there's some benefits to it. And also, there was one piece of dialogue that I'd always tried to get because it was like Diana, who's this, she's a deer character, a snooty character, but she just kind of said that she loved singing heavy metal music or something. And I was sad because I missed getting a screenshot of that. But
Yeah, that's out of
basically,
character. That's funny.
yeah, it was really out of character for her. And I was like, this is really hilarious that they have you say this. Um, so yeah, basically what I'm saying is the dialogue when they visit is great. It's so
Mhm.
good to have them over and actually get to like interact with your things because you
Yeah.
don't get that too often in this game. Um,
You
I
know,
kind of
though.
like seeing,
Mm.
or one sec. I was gonna say I kind of like seeing the pictures of people who've like decked out a place at Harvey's and had a bunch of characters
Oh,
there because
yeah.
it feels like, oh, this is so fresh. Like you'd hardly see animals in this setting in this
Mhm.
game.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say that first one where they kind of come in, they knock on your door while you're working. It was cute maybe the first few times. And then from
Hmm.
then on, it drove me insane. Like anytime I was trying to get real decorating work done in my house, you get a little
Oh.
knock at the door, like, no, I'm not answering the door. And if you were like in one of your back rooms, you'd hear them say like, "Hey, is anybody in your house?" Like they were
Yeah.
far away. And if you
Hmm.
didn't walk immediately back into your first room to greet them, they'd be like, "I guess no one's home." And they would leave. But like I
Yeah.
feel like it would happen so often when I was just trying to get work done. So I kind of hope that there's a way to like lock your door or something when you're decorating because it's adorable when they come in and comment on all your furniture, but sometimes it just seems like they're in there for so long until they decide to leave, or like if you try to leave before them, they're like, "Oh, well, I guess it's time to go." Like they would get really snooty about it. Which is hilarious and I did love it, but I don't know, it feels like every time I was trying to get stuff done, there'd be like a little knock knock knock. Is
Yeah.
that me just being
Yeah.
grumpy?
No, no, I totally get you because that was my thing. Like, for some reason, and this is totally on me, but I don't tend to keep like a drawer in my living room. Usually, especially in New Leaf, that was like the main way that you would access your furniture and clothing and everything, right?
Mhm.
And so I'd have to walk to another room, and it was always like a speed run for me because I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I know if I stay this long, I'm gonna have a villager knocking on my door, and then if I'm in this room still, like I can wait them out. I'd still have to wait for a little while till they
Yeah.
left, or I could just go in and let them in, and then try to walk out and be all rude right away. It was a tough. It puts you in a tough situation,
It
but
is.
It is totally funny though that the option to just like stay inside and not do anything, that's such of like some door-to-door salesman person has knocked on your door
You
and
like
Jackie and I have done this, but we're like, let's go to the back room and just pretend we're not here.
I might have like dove behind a couch before. I can't handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's cute, but at the same time, it can get in the way sometimes when you're trying to get the precious minutes out of the game that you have,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Everybody says they want more character interaction, villager interaction, until Gaston is selling Cutco knives door to door, and then you're going to get annoyed with him. So, don't come crawling back to us when you have
Yeah.
all this character interaction happening.
You all asked for this. We didn't
Mhm.
warn you at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. Regardless, though, it'll be cute. I think
It
people will
is.
enjoy it for whatever time they spend with it because it seems like, every update brings people back for a little while. They, get what they want out of the game and then leave again. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure they'll have fun with it the few times that they get to see it. Or it'll be just like a happy surprise when they
Mhm.
log in
Oh,
in
yeah.
a year or so and they're like, oh, how are my villagers doing that I've abandoned a year ago?
It would be really interesting if they just kind of dropped this type of update without like one of those videos that explains
Mm,
everything,
yeah.
and then just all
Yeah.
of a sudden visitors were knocking on your door. That'd be a little amazing.
Yeah, I think that'd be cute if they just did just a random little update of
Hmm.
stuff happening.
A
I think we
gorilla
need a little
update.
bit more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So the next little thing that was revealed is that there are some new mysterious items that NPCs are going to be seen carrying.
Mm.
So if you've ever walked around in your game, you've noticed your villagers carrying like sticks and little baskets or a purse, a fishing rod, just all of these little items that they can interact with. A lot of them are ones that we can't get a hold of, which is a little bit of a bummer. I
Yeah.
would love to
Yes.
walk around with a basket in my hand. I think they're really cute. Or a sandwich. Come on.
Yeah. A
Whenever
donut.
the donut,
Yeah.
yes.
I even
I
like
have
that
a
like long stick. Not even a stick, long piece of hay that some of them run around with.
Yeah, that's true. So there is this one clip that I have of Agnes, who so sad to see her go, but she asked to leave, so I had to let her, find her way. But yeah, so Agnes, she just like strolls up into my front yard through the back, and she's just chewing on a donut, and she's just acting like she owns the place. It's really cute.
Aw.
So, anyways, those items, the ones that villagers can be seen around, we have seen from this data mine that some new code names for items have popped up. They include stuff like P bag, cane, PKX,
Hmm.
TR, M chart, FPAN, MCAS, all these really random assortments of things. But, some people have been guessing that they're going to be things like a fork and a knife, for example, some
Oh.
cutting utensils, candy cane for like winter time. So the guesses have been pretty good, I would say. Like as far as things that are going to be coming up event wise in the game,
Mhm.
those feel like they make sense to me. Um,
I can't stop picturing someone walking around with a fork and a knife around poor little Franklin.
yes, and what's great is like Franklin, he gets eyed by those villagers.
He
They're like, this guy
does.
looks like food. I think I like him a lot.
Oh my gosh.
So, there's going to be little villagers walking around, and some of them, I'm trying to think, do I have any vegetarians on my island? I guess I do. Like the deers are probably
Mhm.
vegetarian,
Mhm.
but Pearl, she's descendant of lions. So, she's out there on the hunt.
With her fork and her knife.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, anyways, yeah, I feel like there's some really good guesses as far as like what these could be, and
Mhm.
I think they make sense to be very seasonal oriented. Um,
Mm.
just because when it turned to summer this past year, what I liked was seeing that change of like villagers all of a sudden carrying like popsicles in their
Mm-hmm.
mouths,
Mm-hmm.
that was so cute. I love the little popsicle item. um
Yeah,
but yeah, there
yeah. That's gonna be really the candy cane. That's adorable if that's true.
Yeah, yeah, and somebody kind of mentioned like one could be like a frying pan or a
Mm.
pickaxe, and there's really good guesses out there. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll probably find out what these are down the line, but I'd say it's safe to guess that it is going to be revolving around Toy Day and the harvest. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna guess
I'd believe it.
maracas for MCAS.
Oh, that's a great
Ooh.
one. Yes, because we also have like, Dia de los Muertos pretty soon, like
Yeah,
right
Yeah.
after Halloween. So we might as well get in the Mexican spirit, right?
yeah.
Man, I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, they'll be really cute. So the last little thing here is a note that they've removed references to some things, and those things are gyroids and Rio and a mysterious bush. So these are all things that were like in the code. They might have been renamed to hide their identity, so we don't, quite know
Right.
what they are at the moment, but I feel like whenever they make a code, they make it something that you can remember. So maybe somebody will look through and be like, "Oh, this sounds like that would be for a gyroid," you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, overall, those things have been removed. So a lot of us were kind of guessing that gyroids would make a return in one of these updates, specifically in regards to like Brewster as well. Brewster is a character who really loves gyroids and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
A man of many interests for sure. So a lot of us were just thinking Brewster's got to come back. He's got to bring back the roost, and he's got to display our gyroids for some reason. I don't
Yes.
know.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, who knows if we're still getting them? Who knows if they're hidden? And overall, this whole data mine, it's just kind of what was mined in the data. Nothing's like really concrete or anything outside of like there's some references in the new data that could point toward some of the future updates. So, yeah, I guess Sergio, how are you feeling about some of these things that could happen?
It's exciting. I want as much as they can add to the game, either old or new. I just want new things in the game. So, honestly, I guess I want more of the older things that they could just
Mm-hmm.
bring back because thinking about it, it's done. You just gotta implement it with the engine that they have now. I, I assume that's easier than adding new things. So just put it all back in, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Nina, how are you thinking about it?
I mean, I'm excited for anything new, and I kind of like delving into these um into these little data mines because they give away like just enough to get excited about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want Brewster and the gyroids. I love Brewster so much. So I'm ready. I and we've got some really fun holidays coming up, so I'm not sure we're going to be getting Brewster anytime soon, but I don't know, maybe February or March we could look forward to him. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would kind of guess February for him, just because there is like a special thing that happens with the coffee in that
Mhm.
month.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah, it is very sweet.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's still winter time at that point, so just having a nice warm drink
Mm.
to keep you all cozy it's a good time for that.
It makes me wonder if that
Um,
mysterious bush that was kind of taken away with gyroids maybe was some sort of like coffee plant. That could be super fun.
yeah, I want to say the name for it was like plumeria or something.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure. That was kind of like what was the code name for it before. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all that stuff essentially removed at the moment, so we'll see what they
Yeah.
do if they actually bring it back. But yeah, as of right now, I am wondering like how they're gonna handle some of these things. Just because the more I play this game, the more I'm just like pretty convinced that the development team really pushed it, like
Mm-hmm.
specifically pushed the Switch to the limits here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've started seeing like, those really like maximalized islands that are very crowded and overstuffed with items and everything. If you watch any videos with those or even make your own island like that, like you'll be walking around and just see a lot of items pop in like right in front of you.
That happens
So
all the
some
time with my cafe, and I don't even think my cafe is that stacked. And every time I walk, like sneak up on it, if I'm like running and I haven't been over there in a while and I go past it, it pops up all at once. It's bizarre.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so that stuff is like in I guess I'm not very experienced with this. I'm not a developer or anything. For me, I'd just be guessing that that's something they do in order to keep the game running as
Hmm.
smoothly as possible without you like experiencing tons of lag, like your character just like stuttering in place while the things load so they can walk in.
Right.
I imagine they have the items kind of load individually from your walk and then they just pop in like that. So with the new characters being a possibility, like more and more, as much as I really want them to have their own shops and things, I just don't think the Switch is going to be capable of it based on them. We have two shops right now and a couple extra buildings, which are like the campsite and the museum and everything.
Hmm.
And I feel like they really limited that because of how those things perform,
Yeah.
I feel like them adding another building on top of like, if we really want to, we can have 8 playable characters on our island, and that's
Oh.
gonna be a lot of stuff to
Yeah.
keep loaded at all times for your island. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, as much as I really want more shops on the island and everything, I kind of don't see it happening at this
Hmm.
point.
It makes me wonder if we'll see more shops kind of like how Shampoodle was on top of the Able sisters in New Leaf.
Mm,
That kind of would change the sight lines a lot, especially if you have stuff right behind a shop. But I feel like that might be an easy solution to
yeah,
saving
but
space.
also, how cute would it be if you could like walk up there from the outside too? Like you get a
Yeah.
little staircase to their place,
Hmm.
and oh, it's adorable. I love that
Hmm.
idea.
That did make me think just now of when I was doing that rock garden trick and I had the mannequins all over my island.
Mhm.
Hmm.
My game had such a hard time with that, which is, you know, ultimately why I ended up time traveling forward because like I couldn't even run around my island without like there being it like jittered across as I was running. So
Yeah.
you're right about the switch being kind of pushed. So who knows? Who knows what we'll see in the future?
Yeah, and I mean, overall, I do think they did like a great job optimizing it and everything.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, maybe we do need Nintendo to really go for a console that's like pretty well powered and aimed at making things perform really
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get ahead and, end the show with Haken's Islander Corner. Every week, we ask our patrons on Patreon a question and read their answers out loud here for all of you. This week's question was Nintendo just hired you to create a new villager. What's their name, species, what do they look like, and what's their personality? So I thought I'd do, kind of uh, what's that thing that you call it, Sergio? On the spot?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I do an on the spot styled question for our listeners here.
Nice.
Cool. So I guess we should go Sergio, then Nina, then me today.
Okay.
Okay. So Squee of Tortuga said, I would make a female cranky type sheep called Esme. She is grandmotherly but can be snipey at times. She has crinkly eye wrinkles and 4 dusted cheeks and wears an apron. Her hobbies include baking, reading fiction books, and sweeping the yard. While she may wave her broomstick threateningly at her neighbors, it is in jest. She actually finds their antiques amusing and says they keep her young at heart.
So sweet.
Nice.
What I
Huh.
love about this is like it's such a bummer that the characters' personalities are gender locked, you know? Because I think
Yeah.
there's so much room to really provide a lot of variety with the characters when you allow them to be all those different personalities instead of just be locked to a set four, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of why I loved introducing my friend Michi to this game because she was brand new to it, and she'd have all these islanders on her island, and she thought Snake for the longest time was a girl until I was like, oh, well, he's a jock and that's a male personality, and I was like, wait, does it even matter? Like let her think Snake is a girl. Who cares? So I think this
Hmm.
would be so cool if they could start like unlocking those gender types. I love this idea of a cranky female sheep.
Yeah, it's a cute one for sure.
Hmm. So the next one is Gia. And they say, I see people all the time choosing villagers that remind them of their pets. So I'd love to have a cockatiel villager so mine could join me on my island. The character design would be so cute with little blushes that they have naturally. And mine says peekaboo, which would be a really sweet catchphrase. This one killed me a little bit inside because I also grew up with a cockatiel named Header, who said macho bird. So I would definitely have a little jock cockatiel villager that would be friends with Gia's cockatiel. It would be amazing.
I love that. Little
So
bird
sweet.
villagers. I used to not be a huge fan of like the bird villager designs. There are a bunch of different ones, and
Hmm.
none of them really called out to me too much. But recently I've been kind of liking them a lot more. So
Hmm.
I'm always down for little cockatiels and the quail too. I love the ones with
Oh,
hats. Little
yes.
bird with hats.
Hmm. Hmm. I love
Yeah.
them too because they're just so expressive when they especially when they're surprised or angry or something, and they put that little feather on their head straight up. Oh, it's just so sweet.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So Honey Ocean said, I'd really love them to add different variations of species the way there are bears and cubs. For example, different dog breeds or long haired cats. To start with one, though, I'd create a floppy eared rabbit named Cinnabon. She'd be a peppy type with light brown fur and gooey icing hair. She'd wear the brown apron, and her catchphrase would be swirly to keep with her cinnamon roll theme. Her house would bring back the sweets furniture set from past games. I'd like to think she'd be the bunny counterpart to Meringue. That is so cute.
Oh, cute.
The food based villagers are always a
Hmm.
real treat.
Oh, yes, they are.
um, yeah, but I love this, especially like I hadn't thought about this either, but we do kind of get different breeds of dogs in the
Hmm.
game in the sense of like the special character dogs tend to be different breeds than just like falling in that same template for the dog villagers that we have, right?
Hmm.
Right.
So I would love that. I think that opens it up a lot more for some characters because right now, the ostrich body type is home to many different types of birds
Hmm.
in that villager species. So I think it would make it pretty interesting to see some variation for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. We have an answer from Coltrane, and they said two new bunny sisters. To go with Francine and Chrissy, they would be Queen, who would be a normal yellow bunny, and Berry, who would be a green sisterly bunny. I think it would be so cute to see because they mentioned before that Chrissy and Francine have two other sisters, so they have to add them if I'm hired.
Mm. Oh my gosh, they'd have a whole girl group. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Bubblegum KK2.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
A follow
The
up
Black
to the
Pink edition.
classic. Yes.
I love it.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Lagoon Game says, okay, after a bit of brainstorming, I think I have an idea. My new villager is a light gray wolf named Rink. She's Dobie, the wolf that looks like an old man's sister. Similar to Dobie, she is designed to look like she has lots of wrinkles, hint the name Wink. She has a snooty personality and pretends like has hearing problems when someone is saying something that she doesn't like. She and her brother have always been bitter rivals, but deep down they love each other very much. Her color scheme is similar to Dobie's, but with light gray fur and longer eyelashes. Her catchphrase could be "Speak up." Her house would be decorated with antique furniture sets and lots of small plants, which is so cute. Little grandma wolf. I love it.
I love those. Jackie really likes the like kind of older looking characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know Elise, the monkey character, the one with like the beauty mark on
Yeah.
hers. Jackie's always like, "That's my little grandma in this
Aw,
game."
that's
Yeah.
sweet. I mean, it definitely adds variety to the Islanders. I like that.
hmm Yeah, it's a fun one. So our last answer is from Kiki Vulcan, and they said an imposter villager that has an alien villager inside an animal suit.
Oh.
And when you become best friends with them, they become confident enough to pop their head out of the suit. Their name is Pandora. Their catchphrase is "look inside." And their photo saying is, "You never know what you'll find if you look hard enough."
It's so spooky.
This also, I feel like this is a long time coming because I don't know if you all have seen the Animal Crossing movie, but that's an alien movie.
Mm-hmm.
That is all about aliens that are in the Animal Crossing world. Gulliver used to be an astronaut looking for them, so I feel like this fits, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This would also probably reveal who is really under Zipper T Bunny's
Oh my gosh, it's
costume.
an alien.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and you know, Cornimer. Who knows who Cornimer is? Couldn't be Tortimer at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description, and you can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio, Nina, and me. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChuiPlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering all things Haken and Chuy Plays. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. Tuned in on YouTube? The comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. Nintendo just hired you to create a new villager. What's their name? Their species, what do they look like, and what's their personality? If you dig what you hear, please KK slide over to that review section on your platform of choice. Let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is Wild Production, brought to you by Chuy, Sergio, Nina, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you all next time.